What is going on, everybody? Gonna have another dive video here. Today we're gonna be diving down to the Gloria with my buddy Dennis, Tommy's father. This wreck is kind of unfound. Nobody's exactly sure what ship it belonged to, I believe. But it's down there in 60 or 70 feet of water. It's the hull of some sort of a ship. And yeah, tons of flounder on it. Visibility, again, still kind of low, like the last video, which would be the dive after this. But awesome dive, great time, so enjoy. Alright guys and girls, so now that we're down at the bottom of the anchor line, you can see that there's tons of flounder down here, laying all over the bottom, zipping left and right. There's definitely a lot of life here. Unfortunately, it looks like most of them are pretty small. So Dennis is extremely familiar with this wreck and knows exactly where we're at. So once he gets the anchor secured and gets us tied into the wreck and runs a line, we're pretty much going to zip across it to where the larger fish are usually hiding at, and then we'll start shooting them down. Alrighty, so if you look closely here, you can see the tips of a lobster claw sticking out from underneath of this beam. So I take a quick look to see if there's an exit. I didn't really see one, so then I just reached my whole arm in there. The hole went all the way back, and of course the lobster shot to the back. I just had the front of him. I barely had him when he jammed himself into the hole. They kick their tail down. They have a little horn on their heads, and they'll just jam themselves down in there, and they're extremely hard to get out once they do that. But thankfully there was a back to the hole that Dennis found, and he was able to pull him out. Unfortunately, he was too small, so we let him go, but you gotta check sometimes. It's hard to see how big they are, especially in the water. So once we let him go, we ripped back across to Dennis's big flounder spot, and then we started spearing. so over here we come across a large population of flounders laying on the bottom. Unfortunately, most of them look like they were pretty small. I think Dennis tried to take a shot at this one, but the safety was on, I'm guessing. I'm not too sure. He was just spooking it. Looked like it was a decent size, though. But it's always hard to tell underwater. But yeah, we weren't too impressed with much else of what we saw, so we just kept on moving. Alrighty, so we come over this ledge and Dennis sees a shooter right off the bat. Doesn't waste any time, puts a spear right through its head. I see there's like another nice one not too far away, so once Dennis gets this thing under control and gets him on the stringer, I'll load it back up and we'll shoot the other one. Do a little struggle in trying to get the second fish on the stringer right before it freaks out, and then we get all dogged up. Just goes completely south, kicks up all the sand. But once we get them under control, we move along to the next one. right off the bat we come over that beam and I immediately see another fish that looks good. This is why you always take a second look. Dennis took another look and found one that was twice as big laying not too far away, so he became the new target. Alright, so we see plenty more flounder laying down on the bottom here. I see one that looks like it's pretty good. I tried to signal Dennis over, but I wasn't too sure how big it was. I wanted a second opinion. But I ended up just saying screw it. It looked like it was kind of too small, so I ended up taking a shot. And we kept pushing on. Alrighty, so once I catch up with Dennis here, he knows that my air is getting kind of low, so he's signaling me to head back. I hand him the spear gun so that way he can shoot his last two fish, and when I get tangled up in it, I spot this big flounder laying right underneath the edge here. So Dennis hands me the gun so I can shoot my third flounder for my limit just before I give it back to him, and he goes off to get his last two for his hit for his limit. Yeah, that stringer's starting to look good. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for watching.